Good morning everybody, this is Lena from Bespoke Craft Designs. This is part 2 to the eco dyeing papers that I did. I thought I'd start by just recapping on the papers that I used. I've actually done 2 batches now, but I didn't do the second lot on camera, but I will show you the results and talk a little bit about the different papers I used. Now the first time I used these A5 papers, and they're reasonably thick. They're 130 GSM and they were £1 for the works, and there's 72 sheets in here, so that's really economic. And in the first video I did actually say I wouldn't use these again because obviously the papers get really saturated and there was ripping a little bit. But after they've dried, they dry perfect. I mean, some of them, if they're ripped, you can still use them. You can use them for collaging and all sorts of things, which I'm going to go through that. But in my second batch I used some thicker paper, and it actually tore more, and I'll explain why I think that was as I get to it. So I used this, and yes, I will use it again. So I used that one, and then just the ordinary card that I use for printing, and this is the Navigator. Trying to think where I got this from. Wilkinson's, I think. Just ordinary. This is 160 GSM. And then also from the works I got this, it's called Luxury Cardstock. It's far too thick to put in to print on or to do anything on, and I thought, oh, I'll try this, but it's a 12 by 12 sheet. This is 220 GSM, and what I did with this was I split it down the middle and then folded it in half to sandwich the papers. And some of them on the fold broke, so I've got like little squares, but as I go through them I'll show you which ones were from which papers. And I found that was okay, you know, it still tore a little bit, but it was okay. So I'll just show you the results. So this is the first batch that I did. I got 49 pieces of paper, and some of them were doubles like this. So this is from the Navigator, the 160 printer paper or printer card, and these really did. I mean, they've got little tears in them. Got a little tear in them, but you can do all sorts with that. But they turned out really lovely. Different. These are quite yellowy, and there's like a lighter purple and then a darker purple in. But there's a real lovely tracing of the actual leaves and flowers that I put on them. I have put pictures of these on my Instagram, and it's easier to actually see them in the still shots and see how pretty they look. So I've got quite a few of those on the printer paper, and they're nice, and they're lovely. I've got a journal on the go, and I've got a couple of these as in the signatures because they're so nice. And then these are from this one I just said, and I kept all the side on because I do use that as well as trim. So I've got quite a few of those, and they're really lovely. So look at that one now. It's got a bit of blue in, so one of the flowers I used must have been blue, but that is really lovely. I really like that. And this one really shows up the shape of all the leaves, and it has got the blue on it as well. It is really pretty. As I say, they do show up a bit better on Instagram. I've got the link below anyway from Instagram if you want to have a look. So there's quite a few, but they are really lovely how the papers have taken as well, the background, how it's sort of gone into the paper as well as the actual design from the flowers. So there's a few of those. I think I did most of those ones. Well, they're still the copy of paper. Oh, here's the other ones. So the other ones that I did were from this luxury cardstock, and some stayed in the half and they were okay. They didn't break off. But some, because when I was taking the flowers off and you're rinsing them, I maybe pulled a bit hard to get the flowers off, and they went down the seam where they'd been bent. So like that one is just the square, it's just one piece. So there's a few that's still intact in the half that I've got, and then there's some that I've broken off. And then this one, I just thought I'd show you this one. This has got the lovely flowers on again on here, but this was where I put like a wire cage over it to hold them all together, and it's got the shape of the wire cage on this because this was the top piece. And on this side you can see how the imprint is more so on here, but I also tied some string round and it's got the shape of the string, so I thought that was quite good as well. It was a bit like tie-dyeing on there. So I was quite impressed with them, and I've got quite a few. And as I say, there was 49 sheets altogether, but I could have got 15, or probably could have got a few more in, but my pot isn't particularly very, very wide. It's deep enough, but it's not very wide, so anything bigger than this A5 size wouldn't fit in. But you can get bigger pots. So that's from those three. I'll just move these out of my way because I'm not going to be able to show you. Just move those over there. And then I thought I'd try something a bit different, still using the same Crawford and Black. These are the canvas pads from all from the works again, and I'm not sure, oh, there's only 8 sheets in this, but the canvas, I've used this, it's absolutely beautiful, and obviously you can be a bit tougher with it, you can screw it up and wash it and get all the bits off, and it doesn't do anything. It dries beautiful, and I'm using it as it's going to be a soft floppy cover for one of my journals, so I just wanted to try it and see what it would do. So I've done a few of those, and then I did the watercolour. Now these watercolour sheets, these are 230 GSM, and these were the ones I struggled with the most. When these got saturated, they broke up ever so much. So I'll just go through these sheets and show you. Got a different colour this time. I mean, all the sheets started off white, and I've got a much bluer background on the papers, but these are with the watercolour, and as you can see there, can you see the very, very torn? As I say, I'll still be able to do something with them. I could still use them in my signatures. I'd just have to, mend them a bit there, which I can do easily. They have come out really nice again. They've got some beautiful designs on. That one has shown up the leaves. Absolutely, really, really pretty. But as I say, they did break up quite a bit, and they were quite hard to deal with. I had to be really delicate with them. And this one down the seam, even though it hasn't broken completely, I would have to reinforce that if I used it as a signature. So I think I would just use that, probably make some tags or some journaling cards out of it. But I didn't do as many with these. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but again they've all torn quite a bit, and it was very difficult to do. This one broke up completely, but I'll still use it. So there's 10, 12 of those, but the main thing I wanted to try was these canvas sheets. So that's the size of them. What size does it say? Does it give me a size on here? 10 by 12. 10 by 12 inches. And I've even left the edge on there because I quite like that. It's quite decorative. And they have turned out lovely. Really pretty. And it's a little bit different on each side. So I did 1, 2, 3 of those. So I did 3. I must have only done 4 then, because I'll show you, no, 5, because I'll show you what I've done with. So I'll just move these 2 papers out there again. I've stuff all around me, so I'm in a bit of a mess. I will show in more detail me doing this journal. I've not done anything with it yet. I've just sort of put it together so I could see what it was like. So what I've actually done for this, what I'm going to do just a fold. I haven't done anything on the front of this, so I'll just take the bits out. So that is going to be the outside of the journal, and what I've done is because these aren't quite wide enough together, I wanted them to be what is it, 13 3/4 by 9 2/8, and I've just sort of put this on it and measured how far I wanted it to be and folded it over. And then on this side I had some lovely silks, so I've just sort of patchworked them all together and sewn them. And I'm no sewer, so I just wanted to do something a little bit different inside. It won't be very rigid, it'll be quite soft, but I've never tried this before. I just thought, well, I'll have a go and see what I think, and I really do quite like it. I'd only got some bits of these. I got these on Artie May's website. She was selling some bags of different bits, and this was called something blues, so I thought, oh, I'll get those. I don't know what I'll use them for. And then of course when I'd done these eco dyed, I thought they went with them beautifully. So that's going to be the inside, and as I say, this will fold over like that, but I will do a video of me going through this and how I'm going to do it. So I just thought that was something different, so I shall be working on that on another video. I'll just put those back together. There are all my bits and my signatures that I was getting together. Put those out of the way. And so how I actually did it was I did my measurements, and once I got the size I wanted, I just sort of doubled them over there, which will be sort of to reinforce the spine, and then I sewed all the way round it. I actually pinned it and then pinned the material on it and then sewed all the way around it. So I've got a double, just show you again on the actual, yes, I've got like a double piece here where the sewing, and that's where the two go over. But when I decorate this, I will, you know, cover that up. But as you can see, I've actually done some real sort of crazy sewing where I've gone round each piece, but I've done that on purpose because I just wanted that kind of effect. I just really liked that, and I thought that was just another interest on this. I shall be covering bits of it up, but I'm not covering it all up because I really like it. So I shall be doing something to complement it, but I'm not covering it up completely. Put that away again. Oops. Gosh, I'm getting everything in there. So out of the two pieces that I put together, I I had that little bit left, but I shan't waste it. I shall either use that as a belly band and put some more of my pretty materials over the top of it, or maybe make it as a pocket or something. So I should be working on that. I'm going to keep these with my journal because I should be working on those. What I thought I would do with these torn bits is I'm going to use them in some collage sheets because I think they're really pretty. But because these are thick, now they've dried, they're really thick, I shall use some just flimsy paper underneath that I want to use up. I've got some real thin magazines that I could use. Rather than just throw them away, I can recycle them and put this on. So I put this on to anything else, it's just going to make it really bulky and really thick. So I shall do some of those. So I'm going to put those. Oh, there's another bit that I shall collage with, and then you'll be able to, when I've done the collage sheet, you'll be able to cut them up and use them for either tags or journaling cards or floating pockets or something. But at the moment I wouldn't just use them for tags, but these I probably will. I'll probably cut these into some tags. As I say, this is the second batch that I've done, so I'll leave those for now because they more go with that journal that I'm doing. I've got that many projects actually on the go at the minute. I'll just bring these ones back. So all I've done so far, they're the double ones that I'm going to use. I've also got a sunflower journal that I've started, and that's a kit from Artie Mays. And so it's obviously sunflowers, it's quite yellowy, so I've put some of the yellowy papers to one side to put in that kit. So when I get round to that, I will go, we'll show you them again and point out that they are these papers. Oh, there's a bit of a flower still on that one. I'm just going to find those. Oh, they're there. I'm looking for them and they're there. Just move those out the way. So what I wanted to have a look at today is this one's just a square, and what I was going to do is make this into some diagonal. I presume if I just do that in half, that should, has ripped a little bit there, that will, I presume, fit my page quite well. Let me just get a page out then. Oh, actually I can use one of these because they're all the A5. Where have they gone? Yeah, so if I was just, I probably wouldn't put it on another eco-dyed one, but I think actually it would look quite nice. So I'm going to do a couple of these pockets that just go, and that fits almost perfectly, just a tiny little bit that will have to come off there. And I will decorate this, but I do think that's quite pretty again, just as it is. So I'm not going to go too mad. Let me just get some bits and pieces. I've got some washi tape and some napkins. What have I got here? Oh, sorry, I've just hit the camera. I'm still not really used to this, having to have the camera so near, and I'm still really sort of working it out. What I'm going to do on this one, I suppose if I cut it first that would be better. I'm going to have to just put a little bit of a mend on that side because it is. Can I see where I'm going there? A bit thick to bend to cut it. It wouldn't tear, it would just, I think it would just all fall apart. See if I can get it right on that. I'm not the world's best straight cutter. I love it when I hear, oh, that has broken off. I love it when I hear other crafters say that they can't cut straight and they don't measure very well, because I'm dreadful at it, absolutely dreadful. Yeah, so with this one I've just got a little tear there. So what am I going to do with that? I've got some washi tape. It's ever so difficult to think what to do to not cover this up because it's so pretty. Let me see it without my hands in the way. Let me just see if I can just zoom you in a slight bit and just see if you can see how pretty it is. So pretty. I think this was the peony, and it says the leaves as the leaves are on there. I've got this other little bit of purple washi tape. I'm just putting this edge at the side. Put the piece there just to I'll just zoom you out a little bit. Oh, wrong way, sorry. That's it. I'm just going to just put a little mend on there. I'll turn that around the other way, I think. I think actually I might put a piece on this side that you can't actually see, but it'll just strengthen it a little bit. That bit's not going to show, but I'll just give it a bit of strength. What have I got here? Don't know whether to go with a purple butterfly or to go with a different colour. I think I'll stick with purple. I do stick these down with my glue stick. I use a Yoo-hoo glue stick, but I still go over them with Mod Podge. I don't always probably won't show that on camera, just for the fact that you can't then carry on and work on them because it's wet. Once I get a bit more at stopping and starting the video, that'll probably be easier for me. But at the moment, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I actually like that one there. Let me have a look. So I've got, oh, I keep knocking that. I'm really sorry. Oh, I've got some pretty purples in here, in this napkin. Let me have a look, see if I prefer this. Yeah, I think I prefer that. than the big butterfly. Got some tinier butterflies, but I think I do like that on there. I'll put it nearer the top because I still want to keep as much of that pattern as I can. I don't like the stark white on this, but because it's got some really fine leaves that I wanted to keep on, you can't really cut off all the white out of it. So although you have to be very delicate because, as I say, it's only glued down, I usually go over it with well, not the oxide, the distressed inks. This one's this is milled lavender, the Tim Holtz distressed inks. I think I've got a colour palette for my journal that I'm doing, and I'm not using any digitals on this one. I will be using some probably for but not for the pages. I shan't be doing. I've made my own pages with just different paints and the eco dyeing papers, and also with the avocado dye that I made. So obviously in my next video I will show you, but this is sort of my palette. That's just that's the sort of colours that I'll be using on this one when I get going with it. So I think the milled lavender is the most gentle. It's got a little bit hanging over there, as I say, but I will be going over this with a little bit of Mod Podge. It just gives it that little bit more stability. It won't pull about so much. But before I do that, I am going to just try and get rid of a bit of that white. Use these little sponges, but because I'm using like a lavendery colour and it's a pink sponge, it's hard to see how much I've got on. And I'm obviously having to be very gentle. I'm just dabbing it on because I don't want it to rip it. Then it's it needs a bit of something, so I'm going to just use some of my stamps on there. Where have I put my... Oh, I have. So I'm going to use black because I've got in the distressed oxide, I've got some oxides and some just the distressed inks, and I'm using the black soot if I want to use. Might use this for some of the stamping, but I also use, my go-to for everything is the jet black stays on. I always come back to this. Apart from anything else, I love the smell of it. It smells real almondy. What I'm going to do with that, I've got a little bit, this is just, I don't really know what it is, it's just a little bit of, can I show you what I've, do you know, I've got that many odd bits of paper, and then when I want one, I've got my recycle bin right next to me, so I'll just show you what this one is. It's just a bit of everything, sort of multi-stamp, but I don't use it as dark as that. I'll leave that there in case I want to show you anything else. I don't know how much is left on there now. Nothing. So I'm only going really, really lightly because I don't want too much on it. I don't know what that looks like on there. Just going to just bring you in slightly. And this is just a little tiny text one. I think this was out of a magazine. And I can never tell until I put it down which way up it is. Let's just have a look. Not that it really matters, I suppose, but sometimes I do them upside down anyway. Is it that way? Yeah, I think I like it that way. Just have a bit of this as well. I think what I'd like on there is a butterfly stamp, if I can find one. I've got a group of stamps next to me. Can I find a butterfly one? Oh, yes I can. What would that look like on there? Yeah, I'm going to try that. If I want a real crisp image, then I put it on the block. But if I'm not bothered about it being too crisp an image, don't worry so much. I don't want it about there. Yep. And because this paper's quite thick, I'm just holding it down. Give it a chance to absorb in a bit. So that's with the butterfly in it. So I think that will look quite nice. Where did I say? I'll just do it on there for now. That looks quite nice on that page. Yeah, quite like that. That's one half. Put that with them. And that's the other one. I quite like this side, but the trouble is that's so pretty as well, so I think I'll probably keep that and use that one on there. What else have I got here? Let me just move my stamps out of the way. I've got some tags here. These are a bit paler, the tags. So I've just cut 3 sort of medium-sized tags there, and they're all quite pretty. They're all quite nice. Oh, that's really plain, so that'll be okay to use as writing space if you wanted to. That one's oh, I'm not too worried about covering them. That's really pretty, that one, so I want to keep that on that side, so I'll use that as, in fact both sides. That one's very plain, it's not, so I can cover that one a little bit more. Right, what have I got here? Oh, I think I'll do a bit of, I want to try and use that butterfly because I do really like that butterfly. I'm thinking that one's because that one's a little bit pale. I might try and get that butterfly on if I can. I've got some stencils here. What have I got? Have I got some nearby me? Excuse my leaning across. Oh yeah, I've got a nice one there. I think I've got a flowery one as well somewhere. I can't just see it. Oh, knocking everything over. I've got it stuck. Oh, just bear with me. That's it. That's quite a nice one. I might try that one on there. I think I'll go for the pink one on here, not the milled lavender. I'll go for this warm lipstick. See what this one's like. Have a look. Oh gosh, that's really bright. Don't want it as bright as that. If I don't like that, I will just calm that down with a little bit of gesso. But you'll see that is very bright, that one. Good job I rubbed it off first on the sheet because it was very bright. But there is a little bit of pink in this butterfly and I wanted to use that. I still haven't decided which one to use it in. This one I think I'm going to use a little, don't know, I've got some different ones. I think I'll use some of these circles on this one in the background. Get the right end. Oh, that goes in with the colour okay. Still leaves the lovely pattern from the, yeah, quite like that one. I like that. I don't want to put too much on them because I just don't want to cover all that up. I really like that. Might got some lilac-y buttons here. What about a couple of them in there? That's a pretty one with a flower. Let me get at it. Oh, lost that one now. I just saw a really pretty one with like a flower design on the button. It was the only one I could find. So, oh, do you mean I've lost it? Oh, goodness me. Oh, that's a pretty one. It's got a bit of black in it, that one. Is it black? Yeah, I think so. It's got a bit of black in it. It's the wrong way around. I don't know whether that's supposed to be in there or not. Can't find that other one. I was looking for a really tiny one originally. Oh, little one there. Can probably go with that. Excuse me. I was just wondering if I could use a bit of that. There's the tag. Top. No, there isn't enough contrast with that. What about that one? Is that too much contrast? Don't like that either. What about that one? Oh, I like that one better. I don't like the button. Change my mind about the button. I don't like the button. What about a flower? Have you got anything else? Just at the side of me. They're a bit big, them ones. I think these are the only. These are, again, I think these are from, they'll either be from the range or from the works. I think they're from the works. I do quite like that, but I was just looking at this deeper one. See what that looks like. Oh, I haven't put my lid on me. Is that a bit dark? What does that look like? Do you know, when you're watching videos and you're watching other people do things, it's a lot easier than when you're trying to do it yourself. And you just get on and do it when the camera isn't on you, but when the camera's on you, I'm worried what people watching are going to think, and it's quite daunting. There's another colour in here, and for the life of me I can't get the plastic off to get it out. Come on, let's try that one. Still not. Oh yeah, I like that one better. Yeah, I'm going to go with that one. Move those out of the way. Yeah, I'm going to use a bit of that for just a tab on the top, I think. I don't know whether I'm going to sew the tab on or... So if I'm sewing, then I'll just use a bit of Yoo-hoo just to hold it down. If I'm not sewing, then I use Fabri-Tac. Well, it's not, I don't actually know if this one is, oh, this one says Fabri-Tac on it, but I usually use the Beacon, is it 3-in-1? It's the same stuff as far as I can see. It doesn't, I haven't noticed any different. Well, that white blends in there quite nicely. I'm not going to dull that one down because on the background of the butterflies there's like a swirly pattern as well, so it's not quite a stark white, so I quite like that. You'll notice I don't do anything really I don't do straight pieces and everything really straight because I like the wonky look. So oh, if I put the flower on, I'm not going to be able to sew it, so what I'll do is I will use a bit of Fabri-Tac behind that bit just to hold it down, because it does sometimes show through when your fabrics are really thin. And I'll just, I've put a bit of Yoo-hoo on, but I will put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on as well, because I don't want it to come off. But as I say, I will do some Mod Podge over the top of the butterfly, and then it just makes it that little bit more secure. Yep, quite like that. And I'm just going to put some Fabri-Tac on here. I've got all bits of fibres on the end of me Fabri-Tac. I'm going to have to give that a clean. I must do that. I've a bit of this off because I don't want all that. still think I'm going to put a bit of stamping on that one. I think I'll use that text again, because I do like that. Nothing come off on there. Yep, quite like that one. See it? Yeah. And then it's just got the pretty pattern on the back, so there's plenty of room to write on there. Yep, I like that one. So that's two that I've done. Quite different because they're quite different colours on them. That was the darker purple. But I've got both these colours in the background of the journal cover, so it should be okay. Got some pinks in there as well, so not sure about that one. I don't want any more flowers on there, do I? Not with that, no. Don't want any more flowers. What have I got here? Oh, what about some washi tapes? What else have I got just nearby? Not sure. I don't want another stencil. Not really sure about that one. See, it's very difficult to put gesso over the top of this when it's got the lovely imprint of the eco dye that's sort of defeating the object. That side's pretty, that side's really pretty, just to leave it as it is. So, I don't know. This is a really, really delicate pale pink. What else have I got in my stamps? Have a look. Oh. See, I've got a massive big bag of stamps here. These are all the ones I use most of the time, so I don't put them away. I keep them in a tray and I keep them nearby. Oh, I've got a nice dragonfly there, quite like that. Loads of butterflies because I love butterflies. Oh, I've got a bee. Oh, and a little tiny butterfly there. I wonder if I can do something with them. Let's have a look. This one was out of a magazine. It's gone all bent, but I can't get this backing off. It just won't come off. I tried on one of the other flowers and I split the flower in half. I still use it, but I use it as half a flower if I want it for something. But I didn't want to do it with this. But because this is on, it goes ever so crinkly, but I just can't get it off. It's solid, and it would just rip it, same as it did the flower. So I was quite disappointed because I like the dragonfly. So, right then, what I'm going to do with this, I think I'm going to go with, instead of using the stays on, I'm going to go with a distressed black soot. I think it'll be a little bit gentler. So this is a bit difficult to ink up because it's gone all strange, but it's such a lovely stamp, and I do use it a lot. Where are you going? Probably there. I don't want it to be a completely clear image, so I don't mind that. The only thing you have to mind if you use the distressed inks is if you're going to get any wet on them. Obviously these react with water, whereas the stays on doesn't. So if you're going to put anything wet on it, then obviously this isn't the one to use. No, put that away, and I think I'm going to put, I've got like a little bit of a, quite like that. It's just like a wiggle, like a squiggly type thing. See what it's done on there better. I'm going to use the bee. Do I want the bee in the flower? Don't know. No, I don't think I'm going to use the bee on this one. I do like the bee though. I'm not going to use him on this one. I think that's enough on there. I think I might just go to me. Oh, there's my other stamps over there, so I'm going to get them all mixed up. Put them on my mat on there. Well, what am I going to do with this one then? Do I want a bit of text? I seem to, if I get my text one, I tend to always go with it. I'm going to have to bring some more pink into that one. That pink. There is a little bit of the mould colour in the pink and the pink there, but I could do with a bit of something pink. Oh, excuse me, I'm knocking the camera. I'm awful knocking the camera. I've got some, but that's the wrong pink. I think got some fibres there, but no, don't like that. Don't like that. What about this one? Don't like that either. What have I got? Have I got anything nearby that I can use? What have I got? I think these are too big. Let me just have a look at these. Oh, don't want that. Don't like that. Maybe not then. Don't like them. No, they're the wrong pink. I don't like them. What about them? No, don't like that either. What about that other light pink that I had before? Don't like that either. Goodness me. I think the trouble is I don't like that pink. pink. Well, I'm gonna have to, I haven't got my gesso here, I'm gonna have to do something with that and do something with some gesso because I don't like that. No, I don't like that one at all. I like that side, but I don't like that side. So I'm gonna have to leave that. I think if I'd have stuck with the milled lavender, it was a really pretty colour and it looked lovely, but I don't like that. That pink one. This is just subtle and it just complements the colours in the, without covering it up completely. It just complements it lovely, but that's too stark. I don't like that at all. Well, that's a better start. I like that one. That's just got this, this is a Tim Holtz stencil. It doesn't say what it is. No, it doesn't say. I think it probably had a number on it, but I can't see the number. Probably got something on that's just, oh no it isn't, it's just, it just says stampersanonymous.com on it. It doesn't say what type of stamp it is, but it's like a flourishy one. But I like that to start with. I really like that one. I don't think I'm going to go for something as strong as black on this one either. I think I'm going to go for a lighter, an actual ink. I've got some Aero Arts. This grape. Let's see what this looks like. See what this would look like on here. Oh, try that. See what that looks like. Try that with this one. No, don't want one of those again. I'm going to put the butterfly on. Little tiny butterfly. Oh yeah, I like that. Better than the black. I like to do odds, so I'll do 3 of those. I actually like that better than, even with the soot. I'm going to gesso that one and I'm going to start all over again because I'm not wasting it, but I don't like that at all. And I'll use this side as for journaling on, and then do something on that side, I think. So this one here, I like this. What have I got that I can put on this one? Let me have a look in here. Got some little bits and pieces in here. Let me have a look at these. See what I've got. Got a nice flower there, looks a bit. Another butterfly, I don't want another butterfly. What have I got on here? It's a different purpley colour. Don't want that. What about that one? Nope, don't like that. What about that? No, not sure. That's pretty with the blue and the purple. Let me have a look. Oh, beautiful bird there. Oh, love that bluey purpley bird. Oh, bigger one there. That's nice. I'm not sure it goes really well with the, you know. What's that one? That's a pinky one. Oh, that's pretty. I like that pink. I do like that pink one. I like that as well. But I'm not sure of the blue one there. No, I like that one. Don't like those. Don't like those. Well, that one's the same sort of colour. Purple. I like that. I might use that as a tab actually. What's that got on the back end? Something on the back. These are some Mrs. Coggs images that I've got printed off. One or two of everything printed off. But that's really pretty. I've got a really nice flower there. Well, that's the same colour as that, would you believe? I actually like that flower, but I don't know how, I think we're going to have a little bit of some contrast in the back of there. A little bit of lace. Let me have a look. I've positioned those butterflies so it shows as much of the pretty design as possible. And then it's going to make it awkward to put that flower. I want to be able to show all that bit there because it's so lovely. I do like that flower there and a bit of that lace. Let me have a look. I do like that, and I'm going to have a different tab. Where did I put? I just had one a minute ago. Real nice little. Oh, it's there. Have I got put it there? Yeah, I quite like that. I'll have to cover the back. If I'm going to use that, I'm going to have to cover the back. So this is where some of those little bits, where's those little bits gone? So if I back that onto some of this, because I don't want just the stark white showing on there, so I'll put some of that pink around the edge. Yeah, I'll just put a bit of that on there. Oops. Oh, they're my only material scissors. I don't want to use them. Put my lid on. Oh, terrible for forgetting to put my lid on, my glues and things. So many things to think about. Doesn't look like an eco-dyed piece of paper, that one, because that's just got a bit of the blue on, but it does look all right. Let's just see if it does. Comes in on that side. Not convinced I really like that piece. What did I say I had? I said I had some. I had a bit of that canvas. What did I do with that little thin piece that I had? There it is. I think I prefer a piece of that. Let's see. Hi, I'm back to you again. It's Lena. I'm just got to sort this tag out. It was in the first bit I did yesterday, and I've come back to finish off this video. And I kept looking at it. The colours just aren't right at all. They're not right, so I need to do something with it. Because there is no gesso under here, that doesn't move, that colour. Normally you can wet it and it would move because it is water reactive, but it's not moving on this, it's just blending in. I've just tried it a little bit just to see if it did. So it's a gesso, so I'm going to push all this to the background because I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I'm just going to try and, I'm not even sure if this will work. If it doesn't work, then I shall cover it all together and use the other side, because the other side's still the lovely eco-dyed bit that I like, but this, I don't like it. I do like this dragonfly, but even these two vivid, and it just wasn't doing it for me. It just wasn't what I wanted. So I'm just going to push him right into the background. Don't mind that bit of pink just showing through because it's a lot lighter now. Don't mind that. And then I'll put something over the top. So I'm just going to have to let that dry a minute before I try and put anything else over it. I don't think I've got my heated tool in here. I'm still trying to use my wet room before it's gone all together, so my drying tool's in there. So this also was the tag I did yesterday, and the more I looked at this I thought it just needed a little bit of lightening up too, so I'm just going to do a little bit. I don't want as much on it, I just want this. I don't want to lose anything on this, I just want to lighten it up a little bit. Just sort of bring you see what I'm doing there? I need to just get it in a little bit more so you can see actually what I'm doing. I'm a messy crafter. Use my fingers to do the paints and everything. I'm really messy. See, does that look any? Oh, I think I've come in too much. So I will get used to this, I promise. It is it's a lot harder than it looks when you see other people doing it, but I promise I will. Yeah, so I think that's just brought that out a little bit. So that's one that I just wanted to do. That won't take long to dry. That's one of my pages. Oh, where does that go? It goes on there. Just trying to keep things in order, so I shall forget. Is that dried enough for me to try something on it? I'm so impatient, I can't wait. Well, while that's just doing that, I'm just going to put a bit of gesso on these. This is one of the little pocket booklets that I've made. I honestly don't know who I've seen do this. These were Gail Agostinelli. I've seen her do these, and I'm just going to change them slightly, but these are just some old book pages, and I've sewn around them. I've actually sewn them in green, so I won't be putting them in this particular journal that I'm doing, but I do just want to put a little bit of gesso on them. So while I'm just waiting for that one to dry, I'm just going to just put a bit of gesso on them. I go over the stitching as well sometimes, I don't always. Just means for me doing this, in the places where I've put the gesso, it will then take whatever paints or whatever I decide to do on this a little bit better. So a lot of these ideas I get from Andrea from Arty Maze. I've always used gesso because I always make a lot of mistakes, so I've had to have gesso. It's one of my go-to things to sort problems out. So I'll just leave those to dry. Just doing those. Let me see. So I think I want to put a flower. I'll move my gesso out the way. Oh, the lid won't go on properly. Right, let me just have a look. I've got a wet, sticky finger. Let me just... Don't want to make the mistake of making it too dark this time. Still got that pink just going on in the background, and I've still got the dragonfly. But I think I'm going to go for this milled lavender this time, because we do know that's a little bit more gentle. And I'm just going to try these flowers and see what these flowers do with my stencil. See what I think to this, just to give her another layer. Very hard to see if this is taking at all. Oh, it is. This is very pale, very delicate. I don't do delicate, I'm a bit heavy-handed with colour and anything I do. I'm not sure it's going to cover that that dragonfly look anything like. We'll try anyway, we'll see. This is just like a flower stencil. I don't know, it wasn't an expensive stencil this. It's got 4 little flowers on it. I'm already liking that better, but it does need something else, and I don't know what. You can still see the little squiggle on there, but it's a lot less vivid and in your face, and you can see the dragonfly, but to me that's a lot more subtle. I'm going to just do the edges of this a little bit. Still a little bit wet. And also you can still see that it's eco dyed on there, because that's what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to get rid of the original. I just don't like that dragonfly on this. I need something on there to go over the top. I don't mind it as a shadow in the background, but I don't want it fully on there. I don't like it. So I might have to have a look in my little box of bits and see if I've got anything. Which too much. See what I'm looking at? Yeah, I'll just have a little pot here with some little bits in. I mean, I could always do that if I really wanted to and put a flip on it. I'll just put a little flower in the corner and then put it as a flip. Do something like that. If all else fails. Oh, what have I got? Well, that's quite pretty. I quite like that. Oh, we'll keep you on standby. I like you. That's the butterfly over the dragonfly. Don't know. I really don't know. These are from my card making days when I've got lots of freebies and things. I like some of these. That's quite pretty. What does that look like? No. No. Oh, these ones. I've got these stickers. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to use them. There's too much white on them and it's like a real thick plasticky stuff. And I've tried staining them. I think the only thing I'm going to have to do is result in a little bit of... I've got some clear gesso. So I'm going to cover them in gesso, in the clear gesso, and then I can put the background to be a different colour rather than the start white, because I just don't like the start white. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try them. I'll leave them out because I might give that a go. Yeah, because I really like that flower, but it's just too much white on it. It's just, I don't like them. I just really don't like. So I didn't realise they were like that when I got them. Whereas these, although they look white, these are like on a vellum, so they blend into the background when you put them on. And these are just ones that I've printed off. Oh, that's pretty, but oh, there's a bird there. I like that bird. I don't want to go too... I haven't got many in here, so I can't go mad looking at them because I've not got many. I've put a few in purposely because if I put loads in, I'd be at it all day. So I'll just put a few. I'll find something I like, and then a bit like that when I go for clothes. As soon as I find something like that's it. I don't mess about any longer. But I want something there to cover that. I do like the butterfly. I like that flower, but it doesn't cover, not the butterfly. I like the butterfly. I want to cover the... No, I don't like that. I like that little bird, but I don't know. Tending towards that, but I still need to do something there. I do like that pink though. I do like it. I wonder if... No, I think the two together are just too much. Yeah, two together. No, don't like the two together. I like the butterfly. Oh, it's too crammed in that corner of the rose. Don't like that one. So I think I'm going to go for that. I'm still going to have to put something else in there. What about... What if this blue lace? Do you think to that? Or a little bit of that down there? Again, that's still too much. That's still too much. What does that look like? Oh yeah, that does look quite pretty. I think that, and then a word, maybe a word or something down there would look quite nice. You can still see the shadow of the dragonfly in the background, but that looks as if it was supposed to be. That looks quite good. It wasn't, of course, but it looks like it was supposed to be. So I'll have a bit of this off there. How do I like that? Don't like it that way really. Look. Yeah, I do like that. I'm going to do this on the sewing machine, so I'm just going to hopefully stick it enough with me Yoo-hoo just to hold it down. I'll get that stuck on in a minute. And then it gives me a nice gentle looking tag, not too heavy. See if I can actually do this. I've got nails, it's not the problem I haven't got nails, we're just a bit fiddly. I don't know, do I follow that line of the dragonfly? No, I think I do it. Oh, I don't want it straight as that. This is still a bit sticky and a bit wet. Do you know, I have no patience to wait. No patience whatsoever. I still want something. I mean, I don't know whether you can see the lovely pink bits in the background. It does look quite pretty. It isn't as white as it maybe looks on the camera. Can you see the pink bits in the background? But it still does want something else. I've lost my, oh, I've put it back on. So I've lost my lid and I've put it back on. Thought process, Lena, what are you going to put on there? See, I have still got that text in the background. I'm wondering if, let me have a look at this. I want to go for a different colour, but I don't want to go too dark. I wonder if I just do the same colour but do it a bit darker than it is there. See what this looks like. So this is just, no, it needs to be a bit darker than that. It does need to be a bit darker but not too dark, so I'm going to have to do some second or third stamping. I'll just have a bit of something. Let's have a bit of this. This one is grape juice, it's called. It's a Hero Arts. I think it's quite dark, so I just don't want it to be, oh, certainly don't want it to be as dark as that. So I'll have my problems all over again. Right, let's try that. That's a bit better. Yeah, quite like that, that's a bit better. But not as dark as that. Can't be going with that, that's far too dark. Just do that. That's a little bit better. That one. I still want to put something else, but not what I had on before. I wonder if I try this little butterfly. Some of these won't stick on these blocks. Right, don't want it as dark as that again, so I'll get some off. Just do a nice pale one in the background. Just do it pale. It's the balance of pale and not showing up at all. Right, let's try this one. Yeah, that just brings a bit more colour. They're not a real clear image. They're just nice and delicate in the background still, but they are there. I just need a bit of something around that. These are my distressed crayons. Not going to be too. Let's have a look, because I've got gesso on this. I should be able to just do this as like a shadowy effect around this. Hopefully, if I get my wettish one. Just do like a shadowy effect around it. I want him to be in the forefront, but I don't want it to be too. Just want that to shadow it a bit. I just don't want to take away completely that it is the excuse me, the eco-dyed papers, and I can still see that very, very gently in the background, and that's what I don't want to lose. I like it better than they did, but I don't love it. I like it better, but still something not quite right with it. Don't know. Really don't know. Needs something. Trying to look on the camera, and I can't see just what's I want. It's not just what I want, it's what I've got, because I don't have hundreds of items. I'm just wondering if I were to decoupage a little bit of a flower onto there, and that I don't know. Let me just have a look. I'm not happy with how it is at the moment, so I've got to do something. I can't leave it as it is. I mean, I never throw anything away. I'd always do something with it, even if it means covering it up and starting over again. But I'm leaving it in my process just because I want to try and do it with the camera on and get a bit of how to do things, because it is difficult when you know everybody's looking at you, and you apart from if they leave you a comment, you don't know what they're thinking. Oh, I've just breathed out and knocked that over there. Like that. I don't want a full bit. I like that. And I like that. There. This is literally the last bit of a beautiful napkin that I had, and it's just a tiny little bit left. Sometimes you think you're not going to use these little bits, but just thought I'll try this and see what this looks like. Still want the hint of that deeper purple underneath because that's what's in these bits, but oh yeah, go on, roll all up. It's not going to be my day today. Come on, that's it. Like that, I don't want as much of this white on here. I'll try and get it off. Put glue on my fingers and then I'm trying to tear this off. And I've tried doing it with a paintbrush and water, and I still go back to this way. Right, I do like that deeper bit because of that. Yeah, I'm going to try that there. Just put a little bit on. Well, I'm taking a long time with this. I'm really faffing. If I was doing it off camera, it would just come to me. But then I can just hop up and down and get bits as I want. Because this isn't actually my craft room, as I've said before. It's where I work and where I film. But it's not where all my stuff was. It's all, well, at the moment it's in 2 or 3 different places because I'm having to store a lot of it. But that is beginning to feel better for me. I do like that better. Do I like that little thin flower there? I'm going to try and make the most of this last bit. Sorry if you can hear something in the background, it's my dog letting himself in and out the garden. I've got the door open because it's quite warm today, and he's been sat beside me, but not whining, just looking at me because he wanted me to go and actually open the door wide for him so he can get out, but he's realised I'm not going to do it, so he's pushed the door. Oh. And he's gone off in disgust. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit there. Promise I don't normally faff about this long with one. I'm usually pretty quick, but oh dear, knowing that there's somebody watching here. I hope when I've done all this I'm a little bit happier than I am at the minute. Oh dear me. Oh yeah, I do, I like it better. I don't know how it's coming out on the camera, but I do like it better. I just need another little bit of the purpley one, I think. The bluey one, I mean. Oh, I like this little one here. See, this is literally all I've got left of it. I got a pack of 4, just literally 4 napkins, and this was one of them with 4 different ones, and this one, it's just, in fact I think I've ordered some more because I think they were just from eBay, because it is beautiful. Do I like that better? What does that look like on there? I'm asking you, I know you can't tell me. You can still see all the samping underneath these. I mean, you know, it's not got rid of them altogether. It's just faded them into the background and with the gesso as well. And as I say, you can still see a shadow of the dragonfly. but the butterfly is sort of flying over the top of it. It's just made another layer. Just didn't quite, oh no, I don't want you there, I want you further down. Like I said, I will put some Mod Podge over the top. I always do it first with a glue stick and then go over the top. Now I really like that now. It's, I just haven't finished this bit off. I'm pleased with that now. Just didn't do it for me before, but I really do like that. See? Hope you agree that that's a bit better than it was. And then you've still got plenty of writing space on the back with the beautiful image from the flowers from the eco dyeing. So I do like that. So that's sorted that one out. The gesso that I did, now this one was dry, that I did on this, the one I did yesterday. It's just made some whiter areas in between, so it's not so dull. And this is on the eco dyed paper. This is one of the signatures that I'm going to add in my journal. I will keep referring to my journal, and I'll show you some of the posts. It won't be a start to finish one because I don't know whether I'm confident enough to do that yet, but I will show you each process and I'll show you where I've got with it. I'm hoping to do a little bit more. What else did I want to show? So these are the ones that I did yesterday. Well, this video will all go out together, but this is the ones that I did firstly, and left the back for writing on. That one had some lovely bits from the flowers in the background. This is all from the flowers, and then I just did some little dots on there as well in the milled lavender, and that was really much the same as the colour that the flowers had made. And I just put the flower on from the butterfly from the napkin, and the back is really subtle with the eco dye papers. These were really subtle, some of these. And then this is the one I've struggled with today, but I am quite happy with it now. It's quite busy, but I quite like it. Be interested to see what you think. But be kind with your comments, because I am still very, very new to the YouTube situation. I don't mind people telling me what they would have done. I'm just dreading negative comments, but you know, bad ones. I've heard people say that they get bad ones, and you know, nobody likes that. But what would you have done differently? Would you have done something differently on that? Again, it all depends on what materials people have got, because I'm working with you know, a limited budget and limited materials. I don't always buy loads of stuff because I can't afford to do that. But it doesn't. I don't want it to stop me from crafting, because I absolutely love crafting. And this is my happy place. This is what makes me happy, and it shouldn't all be about, you know, spending loads and loads of money. I'm not saying I don't invest some money in things. I do tend to put my money into inks and things, because that's what I like. I love using all the distressed inks and all the stamping, so obviously I have to buy those. But I don't, you know, I try not to buy everything. I try to get as much as I can out of books and what have you, and apart from anything else, I love going around charity shops and looking for stuff and seeing, and when you get a real bargain. I've been today to a little charity shop that's near me, and usually she has some fabulous stuff, and there was very little to get today, so it was a bit of a disappointing day. But yesterday I managed to get some silk, this beautiful silk, going off track a little bit, but this beautiful silk. and I've cut it down. It's absolutely lovely. It's got the real sort of purpley colour in there and this lovely blue. But I did make I had some stupid thing to do. I wanted to wash this, which I do when I get everything from the charity shops. I always wash them. And I had this, and I had some white lace. And what did I do? Put the two together, and now I've got this. I mean, to be honest, when I get white lace, I often dye it anyway, and it has turned out a really pretty pale blue. But I didn't want the whole garment to be pale blue, because it's like a complete lace garment. And I've ended up with it all blue, so for some projects I'm going to try and wash some of the blue out if I want to put another colour in, and then just dye it again with my distress. I dye with my distressed inks and just do a little bit for what I want. I wouldn't have usually done the full piece, but anyway, that's what happened, so you have to go with it. So I think that's it for now. This is, as I say, a short bit of the video, but hopefully it's going to be added to the other part. So I'll say thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back to you shortly. Thank you. Bye. Is that enough of a contrast? It is on that side. Let me see if I can tear it off without ripping it. Ooh. All I'm doing is taking that edge off. And I'm going to use that because I like. I don't want it all, but I'm going to tear the full bit off. So it gives me some fibres then. And then I'm going to put that there with that. Oh yeah, that looks better. That I do like. And then I'm going to put that on the side of there. I still think that's too much. I don't want it quite as long, and I don't want it quite as thick. Just a thin little bit there. These flowers were some that I did a friend's wedding, and these were lovely white flowers. And I did some of the tables and decorated round with these, and they looked ever so pretty. But then I've coloured them with Lindy's sprays. Not for this project, for something else I'd done. So they fit in quite well with the colours that I'm using. Yeah, I quite like that. It's going to be a bit bulky, but I do like it. I don't know that you can see, in that gap there is actually old pearls coming off the flowers, so it isn't as bare in that bit as it probably looks. I'll put it up to the camera in a minute. I'll just stick some of these down. I really will have to clean this nozzle, because I'm just holding this down a second. I get all glued up. I'm a very messy crafter. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've got very little room because I've got that much stuff at the side of me. Oh dear. Oh, I'm going to have to clean this nozzle. I've got stuff all stuck to my fingers. Where's my cloth? This is quite full actually, this, but it's just because it was all clogged up. It wasn't coming out as well. Not right at an angle. Oh! I'll put still shots of what I've done today on Instagram. And you would not believe, I'm not actually sure what time it is. It's quite early morning. I don't know what time it is. Probably about, I don't know, 7:30, probably 8 o'clock. I'm not quite sure. It's quite early. But I haven't been to bed yet. Well, I have been to bed. That's a fib. I've been to bed, but I haven't slept. I've been awake every bit of the night, and I got up, I don't know, 5:15, 5:30, 5:45, made myself a drink and was hoping I'd go back to sleep, and I couldn't. So I've come into my craft room, because usually when I've been in my craft room and had half an hour pottering about, it relaxes me and I go back to bed. But I thought I'm going to turn the camera on and have a play. A lot of purples and blues going on there, but in the background of this is a lovely yellow. So I really do like that. And then I don't know if you see those lovely pearls on there. Look really, really pretty. Can you see? Hopefully you can. Yeah. I'm talking as if you're going to answer me. You can't really answer me, can you? Yeah, so I've made 3. I made that one. They're all very purpley. And that one, purples and pinks, but as I say, that's sort of the colour scheme for, but they're all quite different bits of. So there are a few ready for the journal. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of one of the other. This is one of the envelopes that I've done. That'll go in the signature, and it's open at both ends. I think it's Gail Augustinelli I saw doing this, so I've just adapted mine slightly, but it's the same sort of thing as Gail does. I mean, there's obviously other people that do them as well, but I got my inspiration from Gail. So that's sort of the colour scheme that I'm going for. I'm going to put that back in my journal. And I'm going to take some pictures of these and put them on Instagram, so you might be able to see them a little bit more clearly. And I hope you like looking at the papers that I've done with the eco dyeing. I've done some more papers that I shall be using that I've done with the avocado as well. I'm going to practice and do some different natural dyes and do some different colours as well. So when I do them, I'll introduce them into some of the work that I'm doing. But thank you very much for watching me today, and I would really appreciate it if you'd subscribe and press the little bell, and I hope you really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Bye.